Welcome to Rachel Wolf Movement. Today we're going to work on hip mobility and hip strength. This routine will also be really good if you have any hip imbalances. It kind of will show us if one side's tighter or weaker or vice versa. So you'll be able to use this routine to investigate your own body. We don't need any props for today. I have a yoga block that I will use for head support, so you can use a pillow. You don't have to have a block, but this is the only thing we will be using. So we're going to start in the 90-90 position. So I'm taking my right leg in the back, left leg in front. My right knee is straight out from the hip with the ankle in alignment with the knee, and the front leg, I have the knee right in front of my face with the ankle in alignment with the knee. So we're forming these two 90-degree angles. You're going to shift your weight forward in the pelvis and then shift your weight back. So we're just using this position to open up the hips. Our back hip is in internal rotation, our front hip external rotation. And we want to be mindful of the breath. So deep inhales in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Just doing a little bit of rocking forward and backward to get these hips nice and open. Then we're going to shift our weight a little bit forward. Keep those shoulders relaxed. You can bend into the elbows, and we lift that back foot up and slowly lower. Exhale as you lift. Inhale to lower. I'm keeping my chin slightly tucked so my neck stays long. Notice how my foot is not going up very high. This exercise is pretty difficult, and we don't want to be swinging through the pelvis to get that leg up. So even if your foot doesn't come off of the floor, that's okay. Just keep trying. If you're actually just trying to get the foot up, you're doing the work. 3 more. And last 2. And 1. Then shift your weight back. You can hold on to the knee and the hand. You want to make sure you shift your weight as center as you can and you're not leaning off to the side. Tighten your lower abs. Think about pulling up and in from the lower belly, and then we lift the front leg up and down. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Try to keep your spine as tall as possible, lengthening out through the top of the head. 2 more. And last one. Okay, on the next one, you're going to take your hands to the floor in front of you and just start to slide forward. Exhale, flat back, inhale to lift. Now, if you want to challenge your core a little bit more, you could take your arms out into a T and start to hinge forward and back up, keeping your spine really, really long, really, really tall. 2 more. And last one. Then grab a hold of that knee. You're going to take this arm and reach it up and overhead, just getting this nice side bend and release. And then we'll switch and do the same thing on the other side. So make sure you set it up correctly. Before you start, we have that front knee straight out from the hip, the ankle straight out from the knee, front knee in alignment with the face, and that heel lines up. Shin is perpendicular to us. So we're just starting with that rock, forward and backward, loosening up the hips. And then you might notice one side feels a little tighter. Maybe you did this on the other side, and this leg and back felt a little looser than it does now. So this just gives you a little feedback into what's going on in your body. And then you're going to shift your weight forward. Relax the shoulders down, and we lift the back foot and lower. And also you might notice one side feels a little stronger when you do this. So it's just giving us feedback into any asymmetries that might be going on in the body. And last 3, exhale to lift. And 1. Now we shift back a little bit, hold on to the knee, and then try to center as best as you can. Use your core to lift and lower. So remember, it doesn't matter how high you get your leg. We're just focusing on effort. So you're just doing your best without swinging. What I mean by swinging is moving my whole body. So I want to stay completely still, use my core to get that leg up. 2 more. And last one. And then we take the arms in front, we slide forward, and we lift. Or you can take the arms into a T, hinge forward, and lift. Inhale, hinge forward, exhale, lift. Stay long in the spine. 2 more. And 1. And then grab a hold of the knee, reach that arm up and overhead, get that nice side bend stretch, and we release. Now make your way onto your back, and then you're going to plant your feet on the mat, hands down alongside your hips. We start with our bridge articulation. So we're in a neutral pelvic position. Your back ribs are touching, your lower back is soft, touching, but not firmly planted and not arched so high that the bottom back ribs are lifted. So you want to find that center between the two. Then we start to work by tucking the tail, which will flatten the lower back to articulate up 1 vertebra at a time. We're keeping this tuck, so we're not lifting so high that the ribs pop up and the back arches. We're gonna keep that tuck and roll down 1 vertebra at a time and release. Exhale, we curl up. Inhale, roll down. Now, why are we not lifting up this high? So when we're up this high, we're working lower back muscles. And for the sake of this video and the exercise, we're working more glutes and core. So that's the purpose of keeping this tuck. So it depends on what you want to work and how you hold your positioning in the body to preferentially work those particular muscles. And then we're going to hold it up at the top. Now you're just going to relax your right glute. And when you do that, the right hip drops a little bit. So now my frontal hip bones are pointing to the right. Now I'm going to pick that hip back up, engaging it. Let my left hip drop, right hip stays up. Now my hip bones are rotated more left. So we're just gonna try that, relaxing one side, keeping the other one engaged. Relax, and back to engage, relax, back to engage, relax right side, back to engage, relax left side, back to engage. I like doing this exercise because it kind of shows us what we can do to get a little rotation in the pelvis and what we don't want to do when we're focusing on stability. So you can bring it back down. Now we're going to curl up again. You can walk your feet a little closer together. Now no rotation in the pelvis. Hip bones pointing straight up. You're going to bring that right leg in tabletop and lower it down. Now left leg in tabletop, lower it down. So as we go into our marching legs, we're working to keep those hip bones pointing straight up the whole time. No rotation in the pelvis, no side to side motion. Keep that tuck of the tail as best as you can, ribs staying down. So we can work more hamstrings, more glutes, more core. 3 more. And 2. And 1 more each side. And then we roll it on down, 1 bone at a time. Okay, you're just gonna roll over to your right side, and you can use that block or pillow. We're bending the knees. Now we have our shoulders stacked with our knees, our hips. Make sure your hips are stacked. So if you're not sure, you can take a look at your knees and notice if one knee is more forward than the other. Then you know your hips are out of alignment. So we want to get that stack perfectly and maintain it there the whole time. So we're going to start by lifting up your bottom ribs. So we don't want those touching the floor. This is going to help us work on our posture. And then you're going to keep your feet together as you lift the top leg up and lower it down. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower, keeping those shoulders relaxed. Deep breaths. And then we're going to take the feet, lift them up, and continue with that top knee up and down. Hips are still stacked. So if I was to lift my leg up even higher, this hip would roll back. So you want to check that. Make sure your hips stay stacked. It's not about how high you get, it's about maintaining the form. And then you work the range of motion within that form. 2 more. And last one, and lower down. Now you're just going to lift the whole top leg in the same shape and lower. Just a reminder, those bottom ribs need to stay up. I have to check myself too. And then we lower. Three more, try not to rock. Push the bottom hip down into the floor. Last one. And then lower. Now you're going to hover that leg again. And we kick with the back foot. You can flex that foot and bring it forward. Now this doesn't feel particularly hard if you're not thinking about it, but if you keep the bottom waist lifted and drive the bottom leg down into the floor with the hip, then it makes it harder. Keep the abs engaged. Pull up and in through the belly. Core is working. We're trying to push that foot as far back as we can without arching the back. So keep the abs pulled in. And one more. And you can bring those knees together. Now you're going to extend those legs to straighten. And you want the ankles, the knees, and the hips in the same line. So take a look, make sure everything's stacked. You can feel taking your hand to your sacrum and kind of feel if the hips are even or if this one hip is rolled back. So we want to readjust, keeping the pelvis even. And then we're going to lift that top leg up and turn the toes out. We lift and we lower, keeping those hips stacked the whole time. Foot is flexed. Keeping the bottom waist lifted. Exhale, lift, inhale, lower. Pulling lower belly in. 2 more. And last one. And bring that leg down. Now we're going to keep the toes pointing forward as we lift the leg and lower. Now you might not be able to get the leg as high as when we turned it out, and that's completely normal. So the function of the hip and how high it lifts higher when it's turned out, when it's an external rotation. So physically you cannot lift your leg as high when it's in neutral or internal rotation. And then 2 more, and last one, and lower down. Now we're going to turn the toes down to the floor. So we're in internal rotation. Check that stack of the hips again. Tighten your core, ribs stay lifted. And we lift and lower. Exhale, lift, inhale, lower. This is going to be the hardest one to lift. And last one. And we bring it on down. Whew. Okay, now we're going to bring it to the other side. So you're gonna sit up and then we just turn around to the other side.
Okay, so we start with the knees bent. You're going to check, make sure those knees are stacked, hips are stacked, bottom ribs lifted. We push those feet together and lift and lower. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Also try to keep the shoulders stacked. Make sure the shoulder is not too far forward. 3 more. And last one. And then you're just going to pick your feet up and you're slightly rolling forward on your bottom hip. And then we lift and lower. Three more, keep those bottom ribs lifted. And last one, and lower down. Whole top leg lifts, we lift and lower. Lift and lower. Keeping the stack of the hips. You can even keep your hand back there if it helps you. Last 3, 2, and 1, and take a break. Okay, now we lift that top leg up and flex the foot. We're driving back through that heel and bringing it forward. Check the stack of those hips. This one's easy to get out of whack. And pull the core in. No arching that back. Drive down into that bottom hip. 3 more. Last 2. And 1. And then we stack those knees on top of each other. Straighten them all the way. Just double check. Everything is lined up. Ankles, knees, hips. Hips are stacked with the shoulders. Lift the bottom waist up. Now we're going to turn the toes out, pointing up to the ceiling. Flex position, we lift and lower. I feel like I can't get as high on this side as I can on the other. So just something to note. And we're keeping that stack. Bottom ribs stay lifted. Abs stay engaged. And bring it on down. Now we go to neutral. So toes are pointing forward. We're going to keep those feet flexed and lift and lower. Pull the core in. And then 4 more. Try not to drop that waist. That's difficult to keep it up, but it will be a game changer. It's going to work this hip even more. And we don't even have weights, and it's already burning. 2 more. And last one. Now we're going to turn the heel up to the ceiling. We're in internal rotation. Check the pelvis. Make sure those hips are even. We lift and lower. Notice how I'm not lifting very high because I'm in the correct positioning. If I was to drop my ribs, let my hip roll back, look how high I can get my leg. So it really makes a difference when you're in the proper alignment. And we get to work the intended muscles, the muscles that we want to work. In this case, we're working our gluteus medius, that side hip. And then 1 more, and bring it on down. Whew, okay, we're gonna flip onto the belly and extend your arms forwards. Lift your right arm, left leg, and lower. Left arm, right leg. So alternating. Keep a little tuck of the chin so the back of the neck stays long. So I'm keeping my chest just slightly lifted. And then one more each side. And you're going to prop yourself up onto your forearms. So shoulders stacked over the elbows. Legs are nice and long. We bend that right knee, flex the foot. Pull the heel to the glute. 1, squeeze again, 2, point and release. Left side, flex. 1, 2, point and release. Press into the forearms and lift the chest up. Stay long in your posture. Flex. 1, 2, point, release. Exhale, flex. 1, 2, point, release. 1, 2, point, release. 1, 2, point, release. So if your knees are bothering you on this one, your pelvis might be rotated, like when we were doing our bridge. And I was showing you how you could relax one side and rotate. So if your knees are hurting you, try to wiggle through your pelvis a little bit, shift more weight to one side and see if that changes it for you. So we flex, squeeze, and point and release. Make sure we're not bouncing like this and making the pelvis move a lot. It's intentional. So you're thinking squeeze. Keep the squeeze with a little release. Squeeze again, a little release, point and lower. So we squeeze, squeeze, point and slow to lower, keeping that engagement of the glute as you let the leg down. Now, you're going to create a pillow with your hands, resting your forehead down. You're bending your elbows and you're gonna move your feet side to side like windshield wipers. You can go as far as you want on this one, but not by forcing yourself. So make it gentle, make it easy. We want to protect our backs. It should feel good, so make sure there's no strain in the back. If there is, make your movement smaller. All right, and then you're going to come up onto your hands and knees, have a seat, and lie onto your back. Okay. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh, and then we're just going to let that foot drop to the floor and pull it up using your core, and drop it to the floor, pull it up using your core. Make sure you're breathing. And back to center. We're going to pull that left leg into the chest. You can use your right elbow to kind of push that right thigh away. If you're really tight in your hips, you can leave this foot on the floor and just press away like that. Sometimes this irritates people's knees, so try flexing the foot, and that usually helps. All right, we're going to switch sides. Left ankle crosses over right thigh, and we let that right foot come to the floor and pick it back up. Inhale, exhale to come back up. Try to use your core to pick the legs back up. And pull the right leg into the chest. Use the left elbow to press the thigh away. Flex the foot if it feels good.
And you can release and bring yourself back up. We are all done. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope to see you next time. Have a great day.